Here in America, we have some of the most powerful wealth building tools on the planet, and today I'm going to use them to answer one very specific question. How much money do you actually need so that you never have to work another day in your life? Not some vague, hand-wavy, oh, a lot. I mean a real specific number, and today I'm giving it to you. We're going to use monthly dividend ETFs, funds that drop cold, hard cash into your account every single month. And I'll show you the exact amount you need to cover your bills and walk away from your job for good. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. In the US, there are two traps sitting between you and that dream: taxes and health insurance. And if you don't see them coming, they will blow your whole plan apart. So stick with me, because I'm going to give you the number, expose both American traps, and show you exactly how to beat them. Let's start with the dream, because it's simpler than people make it. Financial freedom is not about having some giant pile of money. It's about one thing: your investments paying your bills so you don't have to. The day the income showing up in your account every month covers your rent, your groceries, your life, that's the day your job becomes optional. You don't have to quit. You just get to choose. That is the entire game. So step one, pick your number. What does your life actually cost each month? For this video, let's use $5,000 a month. That's a comfortable, realistic target for a lot of Americans, and it makes the math clean. $5,000 a month is $60,000 a year. That's the income we need to manufacture out of thin air every year without working. Write down your own number, but follow along with 60 grand. Step two, the vehicle. To get paid every month, we're going to look at monthly dividend ETFs, and specifically the high income kind, like JEPI, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, and its cousin, JEPQ. Now, these are not your grandpa's dividend stocks. They use a strategy called covered calls. And here's the simple version. The fund gives up some of its potential upside when the market rockets higher, and in exchange, it collects extra income and pays it out to you monthly. That's why the yields are so juicy, often up around 8%, way more than a normal index fund. The trade-off is real. You cap your growth, but if your goal is maximum monthly cash flow, this is the tool people reach for. Now, there's a lower yield alternative you should know about. A fund like SCHD pays what are called qualified dividends, which get taxed at those lower rates and it grows more over time. Less monthly income, but friendlier taxes and more long-term growth. High income covered call funds versus dividend growth funds is a genuine trade-off, and the right pick depends on your accounts and your goals. For today, we're chasing monthly cash flow, so we'll run the numbers on the high yield option. Step three, the naive math. And this is where most YouTube videos stop, and where they lie to you by leaving stuff out. If you want $60,000 a year and the fund yields 8%, you just divide. 60,000 divided by 8% is $750,000. So 750 grand invested and you're free, right? Cash flowing 5,000 a month, done. And honestly, 750,000 is a lot more achievable than the millions people assume they need. But here's the problem. That number is a fantasy because it ignores the two traps. Let me show you what actually happens. Trap number one, taxes, and this one is sneaky. When you own a normal, boring dividend ETF, a lot of that income can be qualified dividends, which get taxed at those nice, low rates. But these high-income covered call funds, like JEPI, most of their payout is taxed as ordinary income, the same rate as your paycheck. So if you're in, say, the 22% bracket, the IRS is taking 22 cents of every dollar those funds pay you. And if your income is high, there's an extra 3.8% surtax on top, called the net investment income tax. So that clean $60,000 in a regular taxable brokerage account, you don't keep all of it. To actually net $60,000 after taxes, you might need to generate closer to $77,000 in dividends, which means you don't need $750,000 invested. You need closer to $960,000. The tax trap just moved your goalpost by 200 grand. But trap number two is the one that really gets people, and almost no one talks about it. Health insurance. Here's the deal. If you retire early before you're 65 and eligible for Medicare, you're buying your own health insurance through the ACA marketplace. And those plans come with subsidies that can save you thousands of dollars a year, but they are income tested. The more income you report, the smaller your subsidy, and if you cross a certain line, you can lose it entirely and get hit with a brutal jump in premiums. So all that dividend income you're generating, it can quietly torpedo your health insurance subsidy and cost you thousands. And it doesn't stop at 65. Once you're on Medicare, there's a thing called IRMAA, where high income drags your Medicare premiums up through a series of surcharge brackets. So in America, just like the income taxes, your healthcare costs can rise the more investment income you pull. To give you a sense of the stakes, losing an ACA subsidy can swing a family's health insurance cost by $10,000 or $15,000 a year. That is not a rounding error. That is a second rent payment, triggered purely by how much dividend income you reported. That is the trap that wrecks early retirement plans, because people budget for the dividends and completely forget the health insurance hit. So now you're probably thinking, great, Sal, you just told me I need $1 million and I'm going to get destroyed on taxes and health insurance. What's the answer? Here it is. And it's the whole reason to watch this video. You hold these income investments inside the right accounts, specifically a Roth IRA. Money inside a Roth grows tax-free, and when you pull it out in retirement, it's completely tax-free. But here's the magic part that ties this whole video together. Roth withdrawals don't count as income on your tax return, which means they don't trigger that ordinary income tax. They don't trigger the 3.8% surtax. And this is huge. They don't count against your ACA health insurance subsidy or push up your IRMAA Medicare premiums. So that same $750,000 of JEPI sitting inside a Roth can pay you your $5,000 a month. And both traps just vanish. You keep the whole thing. Same investment, completely different outcome, purely because of the account it lives in. Let me put it side by side so it really lands. $60,000 a year from JEPI in a taxable account after ordinary income taxes can mean you need close to $1 million, and you're exposed to both traps. That exact same $60,000 from a Roth needs about $750,000 and pays zero tax. That's $250,000 difference, decided by nothing but which account you used. This is the single most important decision in the entire plan, and most people get it backwards, holding their highest taxed investments in a regular taxable account, where the traps hit hardest. Now let me give you the reality check, because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. Even $750,000 is a serious amount of money. If you're saving $3,000 a month, you're looking at somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 years of consistent investing to build it. And that's before you account for inflation, which means the $5,000 a month you want today might need to be $7,000 or $8,000 by the time you get there. Here's the honest truth. You are almost certainly not going to save your way to financial freedom on your paycheck alone. And here's a practical wrinkle. Roth IRAs have annual contribution limits, only a few $1,000s a year, so you can't just dump $700,000 in overnight. This is a long game. You fund it every year. You can use a backdoor Roth if you're a high earner, and you and your spouse each get your own. The path is this. Max out your tax-advantaged accounts, your Roth IRA, your 401k, your HSA, so the traps can't touch you. Earn more and cut your expenses so you can invest more, and then invest consistently every single month into assets that grow and let compounding do the heavy lifting over time. Boring, relentless consistency is what actually gets you there. So let me bring it home. To live off $5,000 a month in dividends, the naive answer is $750,000. But in a regular taxable account, taxes and the health insurance traps push that closer to $1 million and can quietly wreck your plan. Hold those same income investments inside a Roth though, and the income comes to you tax-free, invisible to the IRS, invisible to your ACA subsidy, invisible to IRMAA, and that original number works again. So don't just chase the highest yield, chase the right account first. Get that decision right, keep investing, and you build a monthly paycheck that shows up whether you go to work or not. And since these rules and brackets change constantly, always check the current numbers before you build your plan. All right, that's your roadmap to firing your alarm clock. If this gave you a real number to aim at, do me a favor and smash that like button so it reaches more people who are tired of the grind, and hit subscribe, because your future self, sitting on a beach while the dividends roll in, is counting on the moves you make today. Now go check what account your investments are actually in. That one's on you.